On March 13, 2025, Armenia and Azerbaijan issued separate official statements announcing that they had agreed on a draft agreement aimed at normalizing relations. These announcements came after more than 3 decades of a brutal and deeply entrenched conflict. The global response was immediate. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called it a historic breakthrough, while the European Union's High Representative, Kaja Kallas, hailed it as a decisive step between the two nations. While the international community welcomed the move and hoped it would pave the way for further agreements leading to long-lasting peace, it also raised important questions. What exactly is the issue between Armenia and Azerbaijan? What is the current status of the conflict? And is this recent agreement truly final? In today's video, we dive into the answers to these crucial questions. Let's begin. At the heart of the conflict are two countries from the Caucasus region, Armenia and Azerbaijan. The disputed area between them is the Nagorno-Karabakh region, spanning roughly 4,400 square kilometers. This territory lies entirely within the internationally recognized borders of Azerbaijan. Not only is it officially part of Azerbaijan, but the international community also acknowledges it as such. However, Armenia has long claimed sovereignty over the region. The roots of the conflict trace back to the late 1980s, as the Soviet Union began to collapse, and its constituent republics moved toward independence. Although Nagorno-Karabakh was within Azerbaijan's territory, over 3/4 of its population at the time was ethnically Armenian. In 1988, the local assembly of Karabakh passed a resolution seeking unification with Armenia. The resolution ignited violent unrest, and soon, full-scale war broke out between ethnic Armenians and Azerbaijanis. This became known as the First Nagorno-Karabakh War. In 1991, a controversial independence referendum was held in the region, with 99.9% voting in favor of independence from Azerbaijan. However, this referendum was boycotted by the Azerbaijani population in the region, making its legitimacy questionable. After the Soviet Union officially dissolved in December 1991, both Armenia and Azerbaijan emerged as independent nations. The war intensified. By the time a ceasefire was brokered in 1994, Armenian forces not only controlled most of Nagorno-Karabakh, but had also occupied 9% of Azerbaijani territory beyond it, including 7 surrounding districts. The war displaced around 350,000 Armenians from Azerbaijan and approximately 500,000 Azerbaijanis from Armenia and Karabakh. The 1994 ceasefire, brokered by Russia, ended the active war, but not the conflict. Despite the ceasefire, lasting peace remained elusive. Azerbaijan, the larger and more economically powerful of the two countries, was unwilling to accept the loss of territory to its smaller neighbor. Over the next 2 decades, numerous rounds of negotiations took place, facilitated by the OSCE Minsk Group, comprising Russia, the US, and France, but none led to a resolution. Skirmishes and minor clashes continued along the front lines. Meanwhile, Azerbaijan's economy experienced rapid growth thanks to its oil and gas exports via Georgia to Turkey, Europe, and Israel. With newfound wealth, Azerbaijan massively expanded its defense budget and modernized its military, acquiring advanced weaponry and drones from Turkey and Israel. By 2015, Azerbaijan's defense budget reached $3 billion, surpassing Armenia's entire national budget for that year. Armenia, economically weaker, held on to the occupied territories but made little progress on the diplomatic front. In September 2020, Azerbaijan launched a decisive military offensive to reclaim its lost territories. Backed by Turkish drones and Israeli weaponry, Azerbaijani forces made rapid gains, liberating large parts of Nagorno-Karabakh within just 6 weeks. Though temporary ceasefires were brokered by the US, France, and Russia, intense fighting resumed until November 10, 2020, when a final ceasefire agreement was signed. Armenia was frustrated with its Collective Security Treaty Organization, CSTO ally Russia, for its lack of intervention. CSTO operates on the principle that an attack on one member within its recognized borders warrants collective defense. Russia's stance was that Nagorno-Karabakh is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, Hence, CSTO provisions did not apply. Under the 2020 ceasefire terms, Armenia returned control of the 7 Azerbaijani districts it had occupied since 1994. Most of Nagorno-Karabakh also came under Azerbaijani control, leaving behind a small Armenian-majority exclave. Russia deployed peacekeeping forces in the region for 5 years as per the ceasefire agreement. One key logistical challenge remained: access corridors. Azerbaijan has an exclave, Nakhchivan, located on the western side, cut off from mainland Azerbaijan by Armenia. Access to Nakhchivan requires passage through Armenian territory. Conversely, Armenian access to Karabakh requires passage through Azerbaijan. Under Article 6 of the ceasefire agreement, Armenia allowed a 5-kilometer-wide Lachin corridor to connect Karabakh with Armenia, secured by Russian forces. Article 9 called for reopening all transport links between the two countries. This meant Armenia was also obligated to provide safe transit for Azerbaijan to access Nakhchivan. In 2020, Azerbaijan announced plans to construct a railway line through Armenian territory to connect with Nakhchivan. Armenia opposed this, arguing the ceasefire agreement made no mention of such construction, despite both Russia and Turkey supporting the idea. For Turkey, it meant direct access to Azerbaijan. But for Armenia and its southern neighbor Iran, the corridor posed strategic concerns. Iran opposes the corridor because it would sever Armenia's direct land access to Iran, weakening their alliance. Iran is also wary of Azerbaijan's increasing power due to its alliance with Israel and nationalistic rhetoric. Up to 15 million ethnic Azerbaijanis live in northern Iran, more than in Azerbaijan itself. Fears of separatist sentiments being fueled by Azerbaijan have further strained Tehran-Baku relations. Despite ongoing tensions, in September 2023, Azerbaijan launched another operation and regained control over the remaining Armenian-held areas in Nagorno-Karabakh. Why didn't the Russian peacekeepers intervene this time? There are several reasons. First, Russia was already heavily entangled in the war in Ukraine and did not want to open another front. Second, Russia was reluctant to strain its relations with Azerbaijan over a region recognized internationally as Azerbaijani territory. Lastly, Armenia's Prime Minister, Nikol Pashinyan, had criticized Russia's inaction during the 2020 war and had pivoted closer to the West. Following the 2023 offensive, Armenians living in the region were given a choice: accept Azerbaijani citizenship or leave. Unsurprisingly, many chose to leave. Around 100,000 Armenians were displaced. Prime Minister Pashinyan has since publicly accepted that Nagorno-Karabakh is part of Azerbaijan. In April 2024, Armenia even returned 4 border villages to Azerbaijan. You might think the conflict is over, but obstacles to lasting peace remain. President Ilham Aliyev of Azerbaijan demands that Armenia amend its constitution. Specifically, he wants changes to the preamble, which references Armenia's 1990 Declaration of Independence. That declaration, in turn, refers to a resolution claiming Nagorno-Karabakh as Armenian territory. Armenia's Prime Minister Pashinyan has expressed willingness to amend the constitution via a referendum before the next elections. However, the Armenian opposition accuses him of selling out Karabakh and refuses to support the amendment. Pashinyan argues that after the defeats of 2020 and 2023, Armenia must improve ties with Azerbaijan and Turkey while reducing dependency on Russia. While both countries have now officially committed to normalizing relations, they've also agreed to withdraw all cases filed against each other at the International Court of Justice. Furthermore, they've committed to not deploying third-party forces along the border. Still, constitutional amendments remain a sticking point. Azerbaijan wants guarantees that a future Armenian government won't revive claims over Karabakh. Another unresolved issue is the customs-free corridor to Nakhchivan. Although it's not directly linked to the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, it remains a potential flashpoint. What's your take on this complex geopolitical saga? Do you think lasting peace is possible? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video informative, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share it with friends who love international affairs and history. Thanks for watching.